The massive doors of the Galactic Council chamber swung open. Admiral James Stone walked in with his head held high, his polished boots clicking against the marble-like floor. Above him, tier after tier of alien representatives looked down from their elevated seats, their expressions ranging from curious to openly dismissive. Stone had seen many strange things during his 30 years in space, but nothing quite matched the sight of 200 different species all gathered in one room. Some were tall and thin like walking trees, others short and wide like living boulders. A few even floated in special chambers filled with their home atmosphere. "Present your credentials, human," boomed the head speaker, a massive being with blue-tinted scales. Its voice echoed through universal translators across the chamber. Stone stepped forward to the center platform. Admiral James Stone, representing the United Earth government and our colony worlds. He pressed a button on his wrist device, and a hologram appeared above the platform. Murmurs filled the chamber as the image showed Earth's space fleet. 20 ships hung in formation, their sleek hulls gleaming under distant starlight. Each vessel was roughly the size of an old Earth cargo ship, small by galactic standards. Laughter erupted from several sections of the chamber. Stone kept his face neutral, though his jaw tightened slightly. "These are your warships." A delegate from the massive collective spoke, its translator barely containing its amusement. "They look like our pleasure yachts." "Our ships are perfectly suited to our needs," Stone replied calmly. "We request recognition as a spacefaring species and trading rights within local sectors." The head speaker raised a limb for silence. "The Council has reviewed your application. While we welcome humanity to the galactic community, these vessels—" It paused, as if searching for diplomatic words. "They do not meet our standards for major species classification." More laughter rippled through the chamber. Stone noticed some delegates weren't even trying to hide their smirks now. Therefore, the head speaker continued, "Humanity will be classified as a minor species, with access restricted to local trade routes within 50 light-years of your territory. This is for your own protection, of course." Stone bowed slightly. "We accept the Council's decision." His voice revealed nothing of his thoughts. A small alien with bright red fur leaned forward from its perch. "A wise choice, human. The galaxy is vast and dangerous. Your tiny ships would not survive in the deeper trading lanes. The pirates alone would." "Thank you for your concern," Stone interrupted politely. "Earth will operate within the assigned limits." The council session ended quickly after that. As Stone walked out, he heard snippets of conversation from passing delegates. "Did you see those tiny engines? They'll barely manage basic trade. At least they know their place." Stone kept walking, his face unreadable. Only when he reached his ship did he allow himself a small smile. He entered his private quarters and activated the secure communication system. The hologram of Earth Command appeared before him. "Report, Admiral." General Turner's hologram spoke quietly. "Exactly as we predicted, sir. They've classified us as a minor species, limited to local trade routes only." The general nodded. "Their reaction to our ships? Complete dismissal. They think they're looking at primitive vessels barely capable of interstellar flight. No one suspects the truth." "Excellent." The general leaned back in his chair. "And the council itself? Arrogant, set in their ways. They see only what they expect to see, a newcomer species with small, weak ships." Stone's smile grew slightly. "They never thought to ask why our ships are so small, or how we manage to operate them with such tiny crews." "Perfect. Continue as planned, Admiral. Let them underestimate us. It's better if they don't know about the spatial compression technology, or the smart metal hulls, or any of it." "Not yet." Stone nodded. "Understood, sir. Though I almost wish I could have seen their faces if we'd shown them a ship in its expanded combat configuration. All in good time, Admiral. All in good time. For now, play the humble newcomer. Earth Command out." The hologram faded, leaving Stone alone in his quarters. He walked to the viewport and looked out at the massive council station. Its size was impressive, he had to admit. But size wasn't everything. Humanity had learned that lesson long ago. Let them laugh at the tiny human ships. Let them dismiss Earth as a minor power. They would learn the truth soon enough. Chief Engineer Marcus Webb stood in the engine room of the UES Determination, watching his alien guests try to hide their confusion. The visitor, a technical observer from the Galactic Council, kept looking around the impossibly small space as if expecting to find hidden machinery. "This can't be all of it," the observer said, their translator struggling to hide their frustration. "Where's the rest of your engine room?" Webb ran a hand through his gray hair and smiled. "This is it. Everything you see here powers our entire ship." The observer, who resembled a tall praying mantis, clicked their mandibles in disbelief. "Impossible. A ship this size needs at least 400 crew members and engine space 3 times larger than this." "We manage with 20 crew members," Webb said, tapping commands into a nearby console. "Would you like to see how?" Without waiting for an answer, he pressed his palm against a section of the wall. The metal rippled like water under his touch, and a panel slid aside to reveal complex machinery that definitely hadn't been there before. The observer stepped back in surprise. "What? How did you?" "Smart metal," Webb explained, keeping his tone casual. "The whole ship is made of it. We can reconfigure internal spaces as needed." He touched another spot, and the panel disappeared as if it had never existed. "Saves a lot of space when you don't need dedicated rooms for everything." The observer's antennae twitched rapidly. "But the power requirements." Webb walked over to a small cylinder in the corner, about the size of an old Earth trash can. "This is our main reactor." He patted it fondly. "Spatial compression technology. The inside is actually about 50 times larger than the outside." "That's not possible," the observer insisted. "The energy needed to maintain spatial compression would be massive using conventional methods," Webb agreed. "But we found a better way. Here, let me show you something interesting." He led the observer to a viewport. Outside, repair drones worked on the ship's hull, their tools barely touching the metal surface. Where they passed, small dents and scratches simply disappeared. "The smart metal doesn't just change shape," Webb explained. "It repairs itself, learns from damage, gets stronger." He smiled again. "That's why we don't need huge crews. The ship does most of the maintenance itself." The observer stared at the self-repairing hull. "Your species, you're not supposed to have technology this advanced. You're classified as a minor power." Webb shrugged. "Classifications can be misleading. Would you like to see our navigation system? It's quite compact, too." But the observer was already backing toward the door. I should report to my superiors." "Of course," Webb said politely. "Though they probably won't believe you. Most species see what they expect to see." After the observer practically ran from the engine room, Webb's communicator beeped. "How did it go?" Admiral Stone's voice asked. "As expected, sir. They saw enough to be worried, not enough to understand. Though this one might actually be smart enough to realize what they saw." "Good. Let them wonder. Has the new compression drive been tested?" Webb glanced at the innocent-looking cylinder in the corner. "Ready whenever you need it, sir. One command, and we can expand to full battle size." "Excellent. Keep me updated." Stone out. Webb turned back to his work, humming an old tune. Around him, the engine room shifted slightly, walls flowing like liquid metal as the ship optimized itself. Outside, the repair drones continued their work, strengthening the hull one microscopic layer at a time. Let the Council think human ships were too small, too weak. Let them laugh at vessels they thought were barely more than pleasure craft. They didn't understand that humanity had chosen to build small ships for a reason. After all, it's much easier to make something bigger than to make it smaller, and when the time came to show their true capabilities, well, that would be quite a show. Webb smiled and got back to work. There was still much to do before that day arrived. The emergency meeting of the Galactic Council wasn't going well. Admiral Stone stood at the center platform again, but this time his usual calm expression showed signs of strain. "Another human merchant ship has vanished," he reported, his voice tight with controlled anger. "That makes 5 in the past month. We request immediate council action against these pirates." The head speaker waved a scaled hand dismissively. "Pirates are a natural risk of space travel, perhaps if your ships were better equipped." "Our ships are perfectly equipped," Stone interrupted. "But we're restricted to local trade routes where these pirates now operate freely. They're targeting us specifically because you classified us as a minor species." Laughter echoed from several council members. A delegate from the Silicon world spoke up, its crystalline form sparkling under the chamber lights. "Are you suggesting the council is responsible for your inability to protect your own vessels?" Stone took a deep breath. "We're asking for permission to expand our patrol range. Let us hunt these pirates ourselves." This brought even louder laughter. The head speaker actually had to raise both arms for silence. "Admiral," a floating delegate spoke through clouds of green gas, "your tiny ships can barely handle normal space travel. Pirates would tear them apart. For your own safety, we must deny this request." Back on the UES determination, Stone's mood was dark as he contacted Earth Command. General Turner's hologram looked equally grim as they discussed the situation. "Another ship lost?" the general asked. "The Morning Star," Stone confirmed. "Crew of 15. No distress signal." "And the council?" "Still won't help. They think we're helpless." Stone's fists clenched. "Sir, we can't wait any longer. The pirates are getting bolder." "Agreed." The general typed something on his desk. "You have new orders, Admiral. Activate Protocol Thunderbolt." Stone straightened. "Sir, are you sure? The council had their chance to help. Now we do this our way." The general's eyes hardened. "Show them what those tiny ships can really do." After the transmission ended, Stone called a meeting of his command staff. They gathered in the briefing room, which suddenly seemed much larger than usual. "Ladies and gentlemen," Stone began, "Protocol Thunderbolt is now active. Remove all restrictions on ship capabilities. Chief Webb, begin full system activation." Webb grinned. "About time, sir. The smart metal has been itching for a real fight. Commander Phillips, contact all human ships in the sector. Tell them to activate their combat configurations but hold position for now. Let's not show our full hand yet." "What about the council, sir?" his communications officer asked. "They made their choice." Stone looked at each officer in turn. "They could have helped us as equals. Instead, they chose to mock us. Now they'll learn why that was a mistake." As his staff left to carry out their orders, Stone walked to the bridge. Through the viewport, he could see other human ships nearby. To anyone watching, they still looked small and harmless, perfect targets for pirates. But Stone knew better. Under those simple hulls, systems were waking up. Smart metal was strengthening itself. Spatial compression drives were charging. Weapons that shouldn't have fit in such small ships were warming up. His console beeped with an incoming message. Another merchant ship was under attack. "Hold position," he ordered his fleet. "Let them spring the trap this time. Let them think they've caught another helpless human vessel." He smiled, but there was no humor in it. The council thought human ships were jokes, barely more than pleasure craft. The pirates thought human merchants were easy prey. They were all about to learn a very important lesson. Never judge a ship by its size, especially when that ship is human. Commander Ryan watched calmly from the bridge of the UES Swift Justice as 30 pirate ships surrounded the human colony outpost. His ship, along with 5 other tiny human vessels, waited quietly behind a nearby moon. "They think the colony is defenseless," his tactical officer reported. "Their communications show they're laughing about how easy this will be." Ryan nodded. "Let them laugh." Status of the smart metal hull. "Fully charged, sir. ready for combat expansion on your command. Weapons, hidden but hot. Spatial compression fields are stable. Ryan opened a channel to his small fleet. Remember, people, let them fire first. Let them think they have us completely outgunned. Then show them what human ships can really do. The pirate fleet moved closer to the colony. Their ships were massive by comparison, covered in heavy weapons and thick armor. Their leader broadcast an open message. Surrender now, little humans. Your toy ships can't save you here. Ryan smiled. Signal the colony to respond according to plan. The colony's message was appropriately panicked. Please, we surrender. Don't hurt us. The pirates moved in for the kill. That's when Ryan gave the order they'd all been waiting for. All ships, execute Protocol Thunderbolt. Micro-jump patterns ready. Showtime. What happened next would be talked about in space bars across the galaxy for years to come. The 6 small human ships suddenly shimmered. Their hulls began to flow like liquid metal, expanding outward. In seconds, each tiny vessel had tripled in size, revealing weapon ports that definitely hadn't been there before. But that wasn't what terrified the pirates. The human ships vanished, then reappeared, then vanished again. They were using their micro-jump drives, making tiny faster-than-light jumps of just a few kilometers. To the pirates, it looked like they were fighting ghosts. A human ship would appear on the left, fire a precise shot, then instantly jump to the right. Another would pop up behind a pirate vessel, disable its engines, then disappear before return fire could reach it. Impossible. The pirate leader screamed over the open channel. Ships that small can't have jump drives. Our ships aren't small anymore, Ryan responded calmly, as the swift Justice materialized right in front of the pirate flagship. Its hull had transformed from a smooth, simple shape into an angular war machine. And they were never toys. The battle lasted less than 10 minutes. When it was over, 25 pirate ships were disabled but intact. 5 had managed to flee, which was exactly what Ryan wanted. Let them spread the word. Casualties? Ryan asked. None on our side, sir, his tactical officer reported with a grin. Smart metal hull absorbed their shots like they were pebbles. We've captured 342 pirates. No serious injuries on either side. Ryan nodded with satisfaction. Send word to Admiral Stone. First engagement of Protocol Thunderbolt is complete. Also tell the colony they can stop pretending to be helpless now. As his crew secured the captured pirates, Ryan watched their expressions of shock as they were led past walls that seemed to flow like water, through rooms that were bigger on the inside than the outside, and past weapons that should have been impossible to fit in ships so small. I don't understand, one pirate captain muttered as they passed Ryan. We scanned your ships. They were tiny, harmless. A bit of advice, Ryan said. Next time you see a human ship that looks small and harmless, run. Later, making his report to Admiral Stone, Ryan couldn't help but smile. Sir, you should have seen their faces when we started micro-jumping. One pirate actually tried to surrender to empty space because he couldn't tell where we were. Excellent work, Commander. But this is just the beginning. The pirates will be back, with bigger numbers next time. Let them come, sir. Ryan looked at his bridge crew, all of them standing proud. We've got a few more surprises for them. The Galactic Council chamber was in chaos. Delegates shouted over each other as reports of the battle spread across holographic screens. Admiral Stone stood calmly at the center, waiting. Lies, shouted the delegate from the Silicon Worlds. These reports must be fake. 6 small ships cannot defeat 30 pirate vessels. The head speaker raised all 4 arms for silence. We have received disturbing accounts from the pirates who escaped. They claim human ships changed size and disappeared at will. Its scales had turned a pale blue with concern. Obviously, they were drunk on neural stimulants. Another delegate scoffed. Everyone knows spatial manipulation on that scale is impossible. Stone cleared his throat. The reports are accurate. Human ships defended our colony using authorized defensive measures. Authorized. The head speaker's translator crackled with disbelief. Your species is not authorized to have such weapons. You are classified as a minor power. A classification you gave us, Stone reminded them. We never said we agreed with it. The chamber erupted again. A delegate who looked like a glowing cloud of gas floated down to Stone's level. Your ships were scanned when you first came to the council. They were simple vessels, small, weak. They were exactly what we wanted you to see, Stone replied. The head speaker's scales darkened with anger. This is an outrage. The council will not stand for such deception. We are sending our own fleet to supervise your worlds, to protect everyone from your unauthorized activities. Stone's expression hardened. I wouldn't advise that. Are you threatening the council? A massive delegate shaped like a walking crystal tower leaned forward. Not at all. I'm trying to prevent a mistake. Stone looked around the chamber. We came to you as equals. You chose to dismiss us. We asked for help against pirates. You laughed. Now you threaten us with your fleet. To maintain order, the head speaker insisted. Your species clearly cannot be trusted with advanced technology. Our ships will ensure you follow proper protocols. Stone sighed and touched his communicator. General, they're not listening. The general's voice filled the chamber. Very well, Admiral. You have authorization to demonstrate pattern Omega. Before anyone could react, the chamber's massive view screens lit up. Outside the council station, 30 human ships appeared out of nowhere, but they weren't the small vessels the council remembered. These ships were transforming. Smart metal flowed like quicksilver as hidden weapons emerged. Spatial compression fields collapsed outward, revealing the true size of humanity's warships. What had looked like a small patrol fleet suddenly became an armada of dreadnoughts. The council chamber fell silent. Those are the same ships you mocked last month, Stone said quietly. We just stopped, hiding their true nature. Impossible, whispered the head speaker. Your technology. You couldn't have. We could. We did. And there's more you haven't seen yet. Stone's voice remained calm. Now about those council ships you were planning to send. The head speaker's scales had turned almost white. Perhaps we should discuss this further. Good idea. Stone smiled. And while we're at it, let's talk about that minor species classification. I think it needs updating. Later, back on his ship, Stone contacted Earth Command. It worked exactly as planned, sir. The Council is suddenly very interested in negotiations. Excellent. General Turner nodded. And the observing fleet. Still watching our ships transform. I think we broke some of their sensor arrays. They keep scanning us like they can't believe what they're seeing. Perfect. The general smiled. Sometimes the best way to gain respect is to show people exactly why they shouldn't have disrespected you in the first place. Stone looked out at his fleet, now proudly displaying their true power. Should I tell the council about the other technologies we haven't revealed yet? No. The general's smile widened. Let's keep a few surprises in reserve, just in case they need another reminder about underestimating humanity. Chief Engineer Webb's hands flew across his console as alarms blared throughout the UES determination. Multiple jump signatures detected. Biggest fleet I've ever seen. Admiral Stone watched as hundreds of pirate ships emerged from faster-than-light travel. The pirates had gathered every ship they could find for one massive attack. The Council observation fleet hung back, watching with their sensors at maximum power. They think numbers will save them, Stone said quietly. Status of our ships. All 25 vessels ready, sir, Commander Ryan reported from his ship. Still in compact configuration. Pirates are laughing about our tiny fleet on open channels. Stone smiled. Let's show them what humanity's finest can really do. All ships. Execute final protocol. Full combat transformation. No more hiding. What happened next would be recorded in every species' historical archives. The tiny human ships began to change. But this wasn't like their previous transformations. This time, they held nothing back. Smart metal flowed like liquid starlight as the vessels expanded to their true war forms. The UES determination tripled, then quadrupled in size. Layers of armor unfurled like blooming metal flowers. Hidden weapon ports opened along its length. Its very shape seemed to bend reality as spatial compression fields collapsed outward. By the void, a pirate captain shouted over the open channel. "What kind of ships are these?" "The kind you shouldn't have underestimated," Stone replied calmly. "All ships, combat positions. Show them everything." The human fleet moved with impossible grace. Ships that should have been slow and clumsy at their new size instead danced through space. Some seemed to split into multiple vessels, then merge back together, a trick of their advanced spatial technology that confused enemy targeting systems. Webb's voice came over the command channel. "Sir, the smart metal is at full combat awareness. The ships are actually learning from each shot the pirates fire." It was true. Every time a pirate blast hit a human vessel, the smart metal analyzed the attack and adapted. Within minutes, the same weapons barely left a mark. "Impossible," the pirate admiral screamed. "No ships can change like this. No metal can learn." Stone opened a channel to all ships, including the watching council vessels. "That's humanity's greatest strength. We don't accept impossible. We just haven't figured it out yet." The battle was devastating. For the pirates, human ships phased through enemy fire using micro-jumps. Their weapons, hidden for so long, cut through pirate shields like they weren't there. The smart metal hulls absorbed or deflected everything thrown at them. One particular scene caught the council observers' attention. A pirate dreadnought, 10 times the size of a human ship's original form, fired its main gun at the Swift Justice. Commander Ryan's ship didn't dodge. Instead, its hull split open like a flower, creating a hole in its center. The massive energy beam passed harmlessly through the opening. Then the ship's smart metal flowed back together, completely undamaged. "That's..." a council observer stammered. "That's not possible." "You keep using that word," Ryan replied on the open channel. "I don't think it means what you think it means." Within 30 minutes, it was over. The mighty pirate armada was reduced to floating hulks. Not a single human ship was lost. Even more impressively, the human vessels had disabled rather than destroyed their enemies, capturing most of the pirates alive. Stone sent one final message to the watching council ships. "Now you know what our tiny fleet can really do." The pirates learned the hard way. Don't make us teach that lesson twice. The council ships retreated quickly after that. Stone watched them go, then contacted Earth Command. "Mission accomplished, sir. Though I think we might have scared the council observers a bit too much." "Good," the general replied. "Fear can be useful, but respect is better. And after today's demonstration, we'll have plenty of both." The Galactic Council chamber looked very different now. Where Admiral Stone had once stood alone at the center platform, he now occupied one of the highest seats. Below him, dozens of former pirate leaders awaited judgment. The head speaker's scales had settled into a respectful shade of deep blue. "The Council recognizes Admiral Stone of the human fleet. Please present your report." Stone stood, noticing how the other delegates no longer showed any trace of mockery. "The combined pirate fleet has been completely neutralized. 3,422 pirates captured, 0 casualties on either side. All stolen goods recovered." Murmurs of amazement filled the chamber. A delegate made of living crystal spoke up. 0 casualties, even among the pirates. "Humanity believes in justice, not revenge." Stone replied. "Our ships were designed to disable, not destroy. The pirates will face fair trials." "About your ships," the head speaker shifted uncomfortably. "Our analysis teams are confused by the data from the battle. The technology you displayed is far beyond what a minor species should have. Stone smiled slightly. Perhaps it's time to discuss that classification. Yes, yes, of course. The head speaker's scales rippled. The Council has voted unanimously to grant humanity full major species status, with all rights and privileges, including, it paused meaningfully, a permanent seat on the Defense Committee. Chief Engineer Webb, standing at the back of the chamber, caught Stone's eye and grinned. They both knew this was what Earth Command had wanted all along, not just recognition, but a real voice in galactic affairs. We accept, Stone said, though I hope the Council has learned something from all this. Indeed, the head speaker looked around the chamber. Appearances can be deceiving. But tell us, Admiral, why? Why pretend to be less advanced than you were? Stone walked to the center platform, not as a supplicant now, but as an equal. Humanity learned long ago that true strength isn't about size or show. We built small ships because they're efficient. We hid our capabilities because we wanted to see how we'd be treated when others thought we were weak. He looked at each delegate in turn. Those who mocked us showed their character. Those who tried to help the tiny fleet, and yes, there were a few of you, showed wisdom. We revealed our true power only when necessary, to protect others. A new delegate, recently admitted from a frontier world, raised a tentacle. But surely you've shown us everything now. After that battle. Stone laughed. Not even close. He touched a control, and a hologram appeared. It showed a human ship, but different from anything they'd seen. Its hull wasn't just smart metal. It seemed to bend light itself. We're still developing new technologies. This is our prototype quantum phase ship. It doesn't just change size or shape. It can shift partially out of normal space-time. The chamber erupted in shocked whispers. The head speaker's scales turned pale again. That's impossible. Stone finished. You really should stop using that word. Humanity has a habit of making the impossible possible. Later, walking back to his ship with Webb, Stone contacted Earth Command one last time. Mission accomplished, sir. We have our council seat. The pirates are defeated, and the galaxy now knows not to underestimate humanity. Excellent work, Admiral. The general smiled. And the quantum phase ship demonstration. They bought it completely. Stone chuckled. Of course, we won't mention it's still just a theoretical design. Let them wonder, the general said. Sometimes the threat of what you might be able to do is more effective than what you can actually do. Stone looked out at the massive council station, remembering how intimidating it had seemed when he first arrived. Now it was just another structure. Impressive, but no longer overwhelming. One last thing, sir, Stone said. The council wants to know if we'll share our technology. Tell them yes, once they prove they can use it wisely. After all, the general's eyes twinkled. Every good magic show saves a few tricks for the encore.